Good morning, everybody. Welcome again to Tarot Tube. Today we are going to be doing a reading about winter. I woke up this morning, looked outside, and saw a beautiful fresh snow. I always say New York is beautiful in a fresh snow. And it really got me thinking generally about the winter. I know it's technically been winter for a long time, but this has been, the first week or so that we've had any snow, it feels like winter really begins here. Winter can be sometimes a difficult emotional time for people with seasonal affective disorder or all that kind of stuff. So, we might explore that a little bit. We'll just see where the cards lead us. Here we go. All right. Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is all about beginning a journey. I think that makes sense when we're talking about like winter just beginning. The guy in the image, you can see that he is going on this journey by himself. So to some degree, oh, we got pickles once again. So he's going on this journey by himself. Winter might be something that we face on our own, but it's not too bad to be able to cuddle up with others. We also see the moon in this image. As I've mentioned before, the moon tends to represent sort of like the unfamiliar, the dark, and so perhaps in this winter we are heading into the unfamiliar to some degree. I think that makes sense with the idea of beginning a journey as well. In this image, he's in sort of like a rough landscape, he might be in for like a rough time, that kind of thing. In general, cups have to do with emotions and relationships, so I think that's probably more the direction we're going to be taking this read, but we'll see with the next card. Alright, King of Wands. So, King of Wands, he's the most authoritative king. A lot of people compare him to Alexander the Great. He is the ruling king of all the kings within the court cards. We see him in the back. He has lions and salamanders representing strength and also like knowledge. So he is like definitely like a wise king, and his crown resembles fire. As we know, the wand suit is the fire suit. It's a very masculine card. It's a very active, external focused card, and I think that in general, when we look at kings, the way I tend to read them is that they tell you how to behave rather than like a way to be. Being masculine, they are like external focused, and so this card tells us to be a little bit more like the King of Wands. It tells us to, very actively engage in new creative projects. These are the kinds of things that during the winter could help us cope, with any emotional traumas there, and it's definitely something that I enjoy personally. I think without it, what would I do? So let's move on. Knight of Swords. Sorry about this shaky camera. I should be getting new equipment tonight, and then this whole thing will look a lot better. So Knight of Swords, we've got two masculine court cards here. If you're a man, this might symbolize to some degree like a competition with other men. If you're a woman, it might be more about like deciding, between a relationship status. It might be, finding yourself in a situation that is very masculine dominated that you need to deal with. But Knight of Swords is like a gallant knight. He's one of the two knight cards that is moving to the left and is on a horse that's actually moving relatively fast. He's the fastest of the four. And this one's very, very much like action-oriented. He's a believer in strong ethics. He has like a really, really, intense ideological code, but he hasn't quite graduated to be King of Swords yet, and so this can get him into a lot of trouble. He can end up being like a little bit petulant, and people might find that annoying. In general, I read knights as like advice cards. So this knight is telling us, like, while we may be exhibiting some of these traits during this time, it's important that we balance them. We step back and say, like, okay, is this a healthy thing that I'm doing? We've been seeing a lot of temperance lately in all of our draws, and I think that sort of factors into this read a little bit, and having a little bit of balance there is going to be important. I know myself, I've been riding sort of like a wave of positive energy over the past couple of weeks, and while that's great, it can lead to some excess, and I think it's important that we balance these kinds of things so that we become better rounded individuals. All right, well, that's our read for the day. Hope you enjoyed it. As usual, if anything really jumps out to you, leave something in the comments. If you want to talk about something next time, ask me the question, write in the comments, like, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. Hopefully tomorrow we should have better video quality. Thanks.